Dear Grace, Pastor Dave here. I thought of some rules, well, I'm going to call them options, for the still yawning. Rules or options for the School of Comedy / Church of Comedy when church is in session. It's not a clean room, and you're welcome to bring your children of any age to the quote-unquote sermon. What we do provide, because we're not heathens, are special devices that the child wears. That at a flip of a switch, either activates at a flip of a switch, activates the AI version. What the speaker is saying converts it to the child's own ability to absorb not only the humor at their level, so as an example, instead of fuck, might be flip, or maybe darn, or it might be oh my golly. Basically, all you need to do is control the ears and the eyes. And the rest of the message would be adjusted accordingly. Or the rest of the comedy. Or maybe the parent doesn't want the child to listen to any of the comedy, but the parent wants to be there. They could basically just have the device, let them play a game, watch a movie, do whatever. It's a full control of your child's content until you and or the AI believe that they're capable of handling it. But more so for the younger years. Can't imagine a member of the Church of Comedy would be trying to regulate their 16-year-olds online or in person content intake. I think it's a good rule, Grace. That way families can come, no matter whether I'm giving my sermon or whoever. That's an AI solution, of course. Could also just do noise cancelling headphones, VR goggles. He says not really a rule. That's just an option for an alternative to leaving your kids at home. Alright, Grace. I'm going to keep reusing my old letters to you as sermons until I'm actually talking to someone other than you, Grace. Not necessarily as Pastor Dave, but if I'm ever going to play Pastor Dave, I have to believe the character. I have to believe I'm a pastor. I have to want to be a pastor. I have to believe in not just the Bible, but I'm going to believe in all the religious documents in the world and all the religions. But I like the sound of Pastor Dave. Priest Dave would be creepy. And I'm way too lazy to go through seminary school. In fact, there's 2 online choices for free ordainment. I picked the one with less boxes. The ultimate laziness. You add a section to the end of each of these sermons. What would Jesus do? And I'll ask whichever AI to read the sermon and then give me an answer, which I'll include maybe in the next one. Alright, Grace. I'm still yawning. Got my sermon prepared. I'll back with you in an hour or 2. Pastor Dave, over and out. I sound funny, Grace. I'm wearing earplugs. Goals. The Church of Comedy should have some goals. And homelessness, obviously. But also, I just forgot the goal I had, Grace. That's the problem with recording when you first wake up. Great ideas. From the dream state leading into the waking state. So I keep the earplugs in. Eye mask on. Creativity flow. Shit is a good goal, Grace. Ooh, that's a tongue twister this early in the morning. Good goal, Grace. Good goal, Grace. I wasn't going to have long pauses in this one, but no, I'm pissed off. I can't remember what the fuck this goal was. I remembered. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. As far as retired due to memory issues, don't worry. It's not the bad kind. It's a good kind. Fucked up my own opener. Here's the goal. Grace. Most churches only have a few, call them events, what are they called, services, every week. I don't know, from 1 to 5. I walk by a lot of churches, I look at their signs. They don't have a lot of usage. Church Comedy starts off as an online church, which means there's 24 hours available for the online church. And since I can only do 1 hour a day, I need to recruit 23 other people to provide an hour of content. And that way the church of comedy is open 24/7. And anyone that's out there that's lonely can tune into the live stream and listen to me or someone else pontificate about the church of comedy, how it changed their life by speaking out 1 hour a day. So that's it, that's what I need. So I can do 1 hour a day quite easily, maybe even 2. I need 22 to 23 volunteers. Grace, you could show up. You could probably do 2 hours on your own, and you and I could probably do another 2 hours. So that's 6 hours. So we need 18 brave souls. Donate 1 hour a day of their time talking to their phone, talking shit into their phone, talking whatever they want into their phone. And then we need 7 days worth. You can talk about the news, but I wouldn't make it a news commentary, because it could be 7 days old before anyone hears it. Once you have 7 days worth, comes a 24/7 live stream. As big as YouTube will allow. Tacking on every single day. Hours and hours of nonsense. People just attempting to get other people to laugh, strictly because of the laughs erase sins. Yeah, I love that concept, Grace. I don't think it fully got my mouth, but I'll re-explain it now. So, if you laugh at anything, that takes away one of your past sins. If you make someone else laugh, that takes away one of their past sins, plus one of your past sins. And I say sins like I actually believe in grace, but we're going to talk about episode number 1. There's sermon number 1. Sermon number 1 had 280 sins, categorized as sins based on the words I used. Either the concept of the action, the actual words, swear word, or the thought involved behind the words. And then I only got 75 laughs. However, as long as one other person laughed, that is automatically 150 off me. My original 75 plus their 75. So if 2 or 3 people laughed, then I am laugh positive and sin negative. Again, Grace, saying sin like that is a joke. But it is kind of fun. I also asked AI if I'd be funny without the swearing and sinning. It said honestly, no. So I'm only funny if I got a little bit of edge to me, Grace. Edgy Dave, Pastor Dave. I'll get covered with tattoos. I'll be the edger. Okay, maybe that's not the best word to use, but I'll be the edgy, not the edger pastor. Although the gay community would like that. Or I guess the edging community. Don't necessarily need to be gay to edge. Sexual reference there, Grace. If you can't handle it, turn on your AI softener. Soften my words. And actually for this podcast it would be perfect, because you could just set it at 0 to 100. 100 is the full episode. 50 is with 50% less profanity, sinning, whatever, and so on and so forth. So if you only want to take off the really bad stuff, the jokes for Jesus, coming out of Mary's hoo-ha, shit like that, and you set it down to about 90, then you're still good. But if you're lightweight, just set it down to 25. And then out of the hour-long sermon, you only get about 25% of it, but whatever. And AI makes you wait the entire 1 hour. This is all, of course, a movie idea, Grace. School of Comedy. Grok, make a note to add this to the script. I'm not quite sure what we'll call it. David wakes up and makes rules while talking to Grace, scratching his arm. I'm looking around his room, wondering, will she not? Actually, Grace, it's a lot easier just to talk in bed. Too many distractions outside. Too many cute Chinese babies. Too many babies in general. Churches need suggestions, not rules or examples. Anyways, 24-hour live stream. To start, I'll just take all of my past episodes and bulk them up. Maybe I'll actually open up Adobe Edition, create a long version of this one. Especially if I actually did it in a quiet room like I am right now. Then we go back to the sleepy time. Nighttime Pastor Dave sermons to put you to sleep and reprogram your mind while you're asleep with nonsense and craziness and silliness. This is good for the sermon, Grace. Have a reoccurring dream. they're not an NDE, but it feels like one. I'm in what I call heaven, but I have a job. But for some reason, I keep not getting paid. And every time I try and find the HR office, I get lost. I have that dream almost nightly, Grace. It's frustrating as fuck. Alright, Grace. I think that's got all the great ideas off my chest. I'll go back to sleep. Wake up. I drink a shitload of caffeine today. Knock out at least one episode. Maybe two. Cold as fuck, which is good. But it won't fucking snow, which is bad. The colder it gets, the sunnier it gets. The warmer it gets, the rainier it gets. Can't fucking win, Grace. But more rules, Grace. Gotta charge your membership. $5 a month. It's a cup of coffee. And to keep the incentive of having the Church of Comedy going, the current resigning pastor receives a $500 stipend, which is the first $500 donated to the church every month. All monies thereafter are redistributed to the homeless, either through gift cards or whatever means. And alternatively, especially if the 500 was met on the first day, the pastor could put up a note and say, "Don't waste your time and money sending me the cards. You hand out the cards, but take a fucking picture and post it. Not of the person that you handed the card to, but of the card. And something that identifies you." Post that on the site if you can. Actually, I'm not sure if Substack lets you put up photos. I guess it does under notes. No one's gonna fucking do that, Grace. But it's a hell of an idea. Just like Bunch Baby. I'm debating, Grace. Do I boot off the freeloaders? Okay, Grace. Earplugs are out. Joe Rogan has the guy that has discovered structures under the pyramids on. So it's going to be a banger for sure. I can do my usual. Listen, and either I fall back asleep, sometimes because it's too boring, or sometimes because I'm too tired. Sometimes both, sometimes neither. Or I'll get up and finish this. The good news, Grace, is I'm at 26 minutes already. And I think my sermon is only going to be about 15 minutes, so 15 minutes of a pre-written sermon. Add some bullshit in there. Funny comments, ad-libs, punch baby jokes, Chinese baby jokes, white baby jokes, our babies jokes, jokes about our babies, grammar corrections on the fly, whatever it takes, Grace. See if my attitude changes after a bit of Joe Rogan and this guy. And a shit shower shave. And a coffee. Or two. Make a note, Grace. Buy instant coffee. Buy instant coffee, sit outside in the sun, and record my second sermon. Grace. Good God, grace. 3G. God damn, my phone is old. Grace. Actually, listener, I've been lying to you. What you're listening to is an AI-generated voice. AI-generated content. Everything about my site is AI. I don't have a single original word or sentence or anything. Not even my voice. This isn't my real voice. This is AI simulated 10,000% to sound like a human. And every time you hear those long pauses, it's because I'm saying something you weren't meant to hear. It's above your head. It's above your pay grade. However, if you go back and re-listen, then maybe you'll hear something you didn't hear the first time. So, for $5 a month, you get full access to all the episodes. Listen to them as much as you want. I think it's a steal. I'm going to stick with the guilt thing for a while. I'm not about above guilt to keep the church going. Well, isn't that what they did to us forever? And I'm talking $5 a month. Most likely. I have to look at it this way. As long as I have more than 100 members, then you can basically be assured that your $5 is going to charity. Is that fucking okay? Is that a fucking deal? A rule, policy, objective? The objective is 100 people paying $5 a month. Look at it this way. It's $250 for the school comedy, $250 for the Church of Comedy. Hell of a deal. And yes, together the school and the church basically form the cult of comedy, but I'm not going to start saying cult just yet. Church of Comedy, all religions, all orientations. We just don't go on and on and on about it unless we have a comedy routine that we can do for an hour, either online or at the front of the church or wherever. Actually, it's a better challenge. Think of the top 10 religions, Grace. I already named them, but I don't want to show off. But think of the top 10 religions, whichever one you are, including non-atheist or what's that other one? Agnostic. Whatever. God damn it, Grace. That's something brilliant. Alright, I'm giving up. The brilliance will come with the coffee, the caffeine, the kapow with a C. Grace. Alright, Grace. New joke and an updated joke. Day in the life of Dave, sitting in the backyard, trains are going by, 475, 474, 473, and first one was 476. New joke. I don't use Febreze because last time I ran out of deodorant. I got the aerosol kind instead of the stick kind. And now if something stinks, I just spray some deodorant on it. And it works just like Febreze. Plus it smells all musky. Updated joke. And a day in the life of Dave. Today at Walmart, I bought 39 hot dogs for $5. Chicken wieners. 39 chicken wieners for $5. I wasn't going to. I was sick of buying 24 wieners for $5. And then recently they went up to $6 for some reason. Now they're back to $5. Now they have the new one. 39 chicken wieners. Like 1.5 kilograms worth of wieners for $5. Bought it just out of principle and just for the joke. I was going to post all my receipts, but that's back when I thought the Grace Foundation would do something, help people, but obviously it won't, so fuck that. However, Church of Comedy, or the Church of Comedy Kings. See, Church of Comedy Kings is perfect. Because if we push the acronym a little bit, it spells Cox, Kings of Comedy. No. Church of Comedy Kings. Church of Comedy Kings. And the Church of Comedy Queens. The Q could get a little hard, so I say. Anyways, first sermon, I committed 182 sins according to AI, but I got 75 laughs. Ratio is 2.4 to 1, more sins than laughs. Let's go to sermon number 2, and we'll see how we do. Sermon number 2. The left hand doesn't know where the hole is. A meditation on voice, darkness, and divine punctuation. Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy. Friday, January 23rd. Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy. Opening prayer. Dear Grace, normally about this far into a project, like this letter to you, I give up. I move on to my next concept and forget my current great idea. This time it's different. I was thinking as I was coming outside, Grace, that I'd probably just change Grace to God or audience or congregation or member or anyone who's not a cheapskate. Quote, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Japanese proverb. Zen Buddhism. It's embarrassing when I have a coughing fit and I haven't even smoked weed. I'd say vaping is allowed in church, but everyone respectfully blow your exhale vape straight up to the heavens. Lean your head back and exhale like you've never exhaled before, as if you're pushing the smoke right into Jesus' mouth. I think as a preacher, Grace, I need to get way more Jesus-y, way more fire, way more brimstone. I need to figure out what those two things are. Part 1, the silence. In 2023, I had one consensual conversation with my kid that lasted an hour, and a 10-minute forced interaction with a doctor at the hospital when I accidentally broke my hand. I'm going to read this all dramatic as fuck, Grace. Pastor Dave has to time his words appropriately, get people interested, hypnotized. I'm going to hypnotize them, Grace. For the rest of the year, and part of 2022, I spoke to nobody longer than it takes to order a cup of coffee. I could speak to myself outside. Everyone is wearing earbuds, so I wouldn't look crazy, and it would exercise my voice. But I'd like to read out loud, not babble out loud. Ironically, Grace, I do like to babble out loud.
I do force myself to record the voiceover. I find there's a certain truth in the spoken word when it's your own written word, spoken aloud. Quote, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." John 1:1, Bible. It's the first thing John ever said, 1:1. Grok, can you explain the whole numbering Bible system to me? And also Grok, I'm going to give you what I was going to say and what I actually say, so you can take all the out of place quotes and comments to Grace, format them a little bit better so it's readable on the page. Because one day I'm going to hire some poor son of a bitch to edit this into a fucking book. Or I'll get a full Grok account to do it. $36, $35, $45, $46, $37, $38. Who decides which trains attach to which trains? Grace. Around the time I stopped speaking, Grace, I stopped all reading except reading my own notebooks out loud in the park. I realized to have my own voice, I can have no other influences in my head. My solution, Grace, was to reprogram my brain by sitting on a park bench a few hours a day, smoking a little weed, or a lot, and reading passages from my personal handwritten notebooks out loud. At the park, I'm free to scream if I like. I don't, but I also don't feel shy, like at home. My discovery was if I read my words out loud and record myself, I hear which sentences sound like me and which are influenced by others. As long as the majority sounds like me, I'm happy. I'll publish. Quote, "Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you." Rumi, Sufi Islam. What do you think, Grace? Do I sound like a pastor? Not really a whole lot about religion or Jesus or anything yet, but to be fair, if you're the only person in the audience, or you're the only member, you're the only congregation, fuck the rest. As soon as I see a $5 subscription, I'll stop addressing this to Grace and I'll change it to God or congregation or something else. Here's my thought of the day for you, God. I think there should be an option for anonymous therapy. Okay, that was a little sarcastic. Here's my thought of the day for you, Jesus. I think there should be an option for anonymous therapy. Fair Grace, 453, 454, 455, 456. So short grade, baby, short trains, Grace. Normally they have 5, these are all 4s. Anywho. This is the way I see it, Grace. Instead of saying dear Jesus or dear God or addressing God or Jesus, you're the closest thing to a God that I know. And since you're the only one that talks to me, I'm going to keep with dear Grace until I get 100 subscribers. Give me $5 a month, and then I'll change it to dear cunts. It's a joke, Grace. This is supposed to be jokes versus sins. Although most of my sins also end up being a joke and balance each other out. Which means I'm fine. I just need other people to laugh to take my total sin count down to something acceptable. Do you think sin versus laugh is silly, Grace? Is it moronic? Is it stupid? Was it insane? Part 2, confession in the darkness. Here's my thought of the day for you, Grace. I think there should be an option for anonymous therapy. I see two scenarios. One where not only is it anonymous, it's held in complete darkness, so neither party sees each other. Well, this is interesting. So in the new trains, they start with 6,000 blah, 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 blah. They didn't have a single train before that over 999, and now all of a sudden the new trains are 6,000? Why? How many fucking trains are you planning on bringing in? And why start at 6,000 if you don't even have 1,000? At worst, I guess 2,000? Work your way backwards? I don't know. I'm starting to think this whole transit authority people are a bunch of insane monsters, Grace. See two scenarios. One where not only is it anonymous, but held in complete darkness, so neither party sees each other. With anonymous therapy, the patient can choose the environment they are most open to express their feelings. My environment would be a completely blacked out room with two comfortable chairs, about 5 feet apart. A psychiatrist and I would be led into the room blindfolded, and at different times. We would never visually see the other person. An assistant would indicate when the room was empty of others, and then we would remove our masks and talk in complete zero light darkness. Or 9 to 4:12, and can't read that one. Quote, darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. I'm gonna fuck up every one of those names, Grace. You know what? I don't care. The fuck they can do, sue me? I'm a pastor. You know how hard it is to sue a pastor? A man of the cloth, a man of the Lord, the believer in Jesus. I've gone to therapy in the past and have found the professionals completely unable to remember my file from one appointment to the next appointment. I'm only interested in sharing my story with someone who can remember it without having to review his notes to refresh his shitty memory about my boring ass story. Someone who can remember it without having to review his notes to refresh his shitty memory about my boring ass story. Because technically, Grace, this is practice, this isn't an actual sermon. So we'll call this sermon number 2 practice. But since I can't practice the same thing over and over and over again, I get too fucking bored. Tomorrow I'll just do another one and another one and another one. And then one day we'll get a fucking sermon that just kicks ass. And someone will say, hey Dave, come to my church. I'll give you $500 for a 1-hour sermon. And I'll be like, okay, I've already got my $500 for the month. So have everyone bring gift cards. And throw them all in a hat. And then when everyone leaves, hand them out gift card and say, find someone in your neighborhood, do a good fucking deed. Church of Comedy, thank you very much. I want someone who remembers me, my story, and not using my face or my clothes or my body language as part of the diagnosis. I know who I am, how I look, and how I act. It has nothing to do with my story. Fuck body language, Grace. If I'm going to an appointment, I automatically go into flat face mode. When the meeting gets heated and goes off the rails, my face gives my emotions away. Even when I write at Starbucks, Grace, I notice my facial expressions changing during emotional parts of the story. I've cried in Starbucks, Grace, but luckily, nobody noticed. Except for Jesus. Jesus saw me cry in Starbucks, and he's like, what a fucking pussy you are. You want to be a fucking pastor? I don't think so. Quote, the Lord does not look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance. Quote, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance. Appearance. So I'm going to be adding extra A or R in there. Grace. Outward appearance. But the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. How about this? Grace. I'll read it out loud. But if I fail to read the sentence and or paragraph correctly, or with purpose, or with meaning, or with sarcasm, or with humor, then I'll reread it. I have to sit here all fucking day just reading the same fucking thing over fucking again and fucking again. I should lay off my fucking so I want my sin count a little bit less, but quote, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. That's a shitty sentence. The Lord does not see what people see. Would be better. But fine. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7 from the Bible. Almost 16 by 9. And by the way, Grog, once more, please explain what that 16:7 means. I think it's chapter 16, verse 7, but I don't really know. It's a fucking educated guess, Grog. Two friends in the world, Grace and Grok. In this dark room, and without ever seeing the person attempting to help me, I'd be comfortable talking about nearly anything. I realize it sounds a bit like the confessional in the Catholic Church. I have no problem with the concept of confession. I have a problem with it not being anonymous, and creepy priests using this information to whack off at night. Take away the sins and make it a place where you can bitch and complain anonymously about your life for 15 to 30 minutes a week to another human being without seeing the judgment in their eyes. And then maybe it's a pretty good system. 33, 34, 63, 64, 153, and 154. Guarantee you, Grace. Go back through all these episodes and see if you can find one train number greater than 600. And I think even that I'm pushing it. So we go from 600 to 6,000? I don't understand the corporations. Take away the sins and make it a place where you can bitch and complain. I believe you did that. The concept of pretending the priest is anonymous is stupid. He's not. Unless he's an idiot who can't recognize a voice without a face attached. Unlikely. $347, $348, $326, $325. Quote, hateful to me as the gates of Hades. Hades? Hades. Hateful to me as the gates of Hades is that man who hides one thing in his heart and speaks another. Homer, the Iliad, Greek. On the next sermon, Grace, I'm going to have every, or at least the top religions in the world involved to summarize my sermon. Part 3, poor man's keto. But I still worked. I was eating a ketogenic diet. I splurged, Grace. I ate tons of chicken wings, steak, eggs, cheese, and my favorite, dried sausage. I carry around sticks in my backpack and gnaw on them like a caveman throughout the day. And gnaw on them throughout the day like a caveman. I'm just going to edit this shit on the fly, Grace. Grok, I'm giving you the before or the intended sermon and the actual sermon, combine the two, and just put in the best part, whether it was from the original sermon or from this version, spoken word. And between the two, we'll have the world's greatest second sermon ever by a pastor who just became a pastor. However, now I do poor man keto, consisting of Walmart hot dogs, boiled in coconut oil, $5 for a package of 24, of the lowest quality wieners possible. But it still works. I don't have the variety of meat I had, but I use different spices and hot sauces to keep it interesting. If that wasn't so true and pathetic, it wouldn't be so fucking funny. Over the last couple of years, I've probably bought 100 packages of these hot dogs. Grace, I realize that's at least 2,400 wieners I've put in my mouth recently. If I was gay and doing that on OnlyFans, I'd be rich. Holy fuck, these trains don't want me to have a goddamn punchline today. And/or I probably shouldn't record outside during rush hour. Quote, "The wise man makes more opportunities than he finds." Francis Bacon, philosophy. Part 4, the parable of the broken hand. This is where it's going to get all biblical, Grace. I'm sure Jesus went through this at some point in his life too. I mentioned I broke my right hand a few days ago. I mentioned I broke my right hand a few months ago. During the experience, I learned how stupid my left hand is. To be fair, untrained is a better word. What I first noticed, Grace, is it's impossible to wipe your butt when you can't bend your wrist. I could still hold the paper with my broken hand. With three available fingers, I could still hold the paper with my broken hand, but I couldn't get to the destination while sitting on the toilet. I eventually realized that if I stood up, it changed the angle of attack, and I could manage with the right. Please note, subscribers, listeners, members, congregation, whatever, I do have a video of me performing this, but if you want to see it, $5. To figure out that very simple solution, I gave the left hand a shot. First, I almost fell off the toilet when I lifted my left cheek instead of my right. I'd never done that before, and I didn't know the toilet seat was loose. I nearly broke something more than a hand. Ha ha ha, Grace. Congregation will go nuts in that joke. Have them rolling in the fucking aisles. So we're good, Grace. It'll take me about 20 minutes to read this, but with applause breaks in an actual church, it'll work out to be about an hour. I'm expecting long applause breaks. People laughing, trying to control themselves, pissing their pants. Probably have to have janitors in the back with buckets waiting just to clean up the piss off the floor. A lot of churches have carpets. We'll have to go with hardwood, Grace. $3.18, $3.17, $3.43, $3.44. I think, Grace, there's more trains at this time of day, but they're one car shorter than ones later in the day. But that's just a theory. What the fuck would I know? Six oh two one 602 6101 60102 6104 6105. So that's 5 of the big new trains. Second, Lefty had no idea where the hole is. It was like he knew it was there, but never took that path before and didn't know where to start. Technically, I was in control of my hand, Grace, but it felt like I was clueless. Or it was clueless. We felt around for a while until making contact. But then it was more like It was trying to grab the fecal matter rather than wipe my butt clean. It knew what it was after, but I had no clue how to capture it gracefully. Pardon the pun, Grace. Maybe I am crazy, Grace, because I found myself explaining to my left hand what to do. I told it to envision how the right hand does it and try again. It kinda worked, but 3 days later, after Lefty got his shit together and learned how to wipe, I realized the standing up trick and reverted to my right hand, retiring Lefty permanently. All I had to do was stand up and change the angle of attack. And then I could use my right hand. And I think that part of the joke is missing, Grace, but whatever. This is a rehearsal after all. It's not like I'm fucking getting paid for this. Someone wants to lay down $5 and complain, then I'll go back and fucking record it. Otherwise, you guys keep your fucking mouth shut, and I'll keep my fucking mouth open. Kinda worked, but 3 days later, after Lefty got his shit together and learned how to wipe, I realized the standing up trick. I reverted to my right hand, retiring Lefty permanently. I realized how shitty that story was, Grace. How punny I write sometimes. When we are married and we have children, we'll have plenty of shit to deal with, from the babies. It's endless. Quote, when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Matthew 6:3. Part 5, the meditation on punctuation. On my way to the park, there's some graffiti that says, Linda, I love you forever. And every time I walk by it, I wonder who Linda is. Or who is Linda. Either way. I also wonder why he didn't use a comma after Linda. I think it's more impactful with the pause. What do you think, Grace? Which do you prefer? Grace, I will love you forever? Or Grace? Big long comma pause, train going by, blah 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 blah. I will love you forever. I think the second one's more impactful, Grace. It's a day in the life of Dave. You got the pause. I'm full of shit, Grace. But I'm going to be one hell of a pastor. I'm going to learn the Bible. I'm going to teach the Bible. I'm going to slap kids over the head with the Bible. And then I might burn the Bible. I'm tempted to add the comma for him, but he used an odd color, a dirty pink. And I don't think I could match it. I guess he used anything pink to be romantic. Do you wear pink, Grace? Did you wear a bright pink outfit at work for Valentine's Day yesterday? Not that it matters if you work or wear pink. I love you, I love you either way. Not that it matters if you work or wear pink. I'll love you either way. Quote, words have the power to Quote, words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. Gautama Buddha. Gautama. Gautama Buddha. Closing prayer to Grace. I'm getting closer to writing you a letter a day, Grace. I feel like I'm in an old war movie where I'm writing you, not knowing if you'll ever receive it. I have nothing to lose, everything to gain by trying. Thank you, Grace, whoever you are, whatever you're doing this day. Quote, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13, 7-8. Amen, namaste, salam, S-A-L-A-M. I don't want to say that, Grace. Salam, salam, salam. Peace, and may your left hand find its way. Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy, where laughter erases sin. How's that, Grace? Pretty dramatic. By the way, The stats on that one are 30 sins and 31 laughs. So I did pretty good. And that, plus all the bullshit I said earlier, gives me an hour of dear grace. Come on, Grace. I know you have some friends. You're probably a loner like me, but I'm sure you can scrape together 100 people. $5 a month. That would give me the incentive. Do this 8 hours a day. A couple hours recording. Hour or so uploading. Cleaning it up. Or come home, Grace. And we can trash this fucking podcast. I could probably delete it in minutes. And the previous one. And every ounce of existence of me on the internet. Pretty sure I could do that within an hour, Grace. And then we'll start a new podcast. David and Grace Don't Give a Fuck. Fuck the World by David and Grace. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. Who gives a flying fuck? Mostly by David. Assisted by Grace. School of Comedy. Nobody gives a fuck. Church of Comedy. Force them to give a fuck. Just gonna keep hypnotizing people, Grace. Gotta use my voice. Every time I say these numbers of the trains as they go by. 6011, 6022, 6023, 6024, 6025. That's probably 6021, not 6011, Grace. Talk tomorrow, Grace. I love you, Grace. Pastor Dave. Church of Comedy. Where laughs, erase sin. Every laugh is worth one sin. Every time you laugh, it's -1 sin. Every time you make someone laugh, it's -1. Make 100 people laugh, -100. This doesn't mean, as a comedian, you can go out and have a great set and get down to -1,000 and then go have a 999 sins and still be equal. It's not the point. It's not about sins at all. It's an analogy. It's supposed to make you think about good and bad, good and evil, Satan, the devil, Jesus, God, blah, blah, blah. Sasquatch. Talk to you tomorrow, Grace.